I'm Patrick Ottman in Havana, Cuba, and this is CNN.
African Voices Changemakers, in association with Glow Unlimited.
Welcome to African Voices. This week, we're taking a look back at some of the best moments from recent episodes. We start in South Africa, where a hot air balloon pilot is soaring to new heights.
Greatest lesson of ballooning is the art of acceptance. I am an overthinker by nature, but ballooning has taught me to let go. And when you let go, it's phenomenal how things turn to fall into place. I use aviation to inspire youth to follow their passions. My name is Makaleng Matebula. I'm South Africa's first black female hot air balloon pilot, and I am a change maker.
Sema Kaleng Matebula says there's a lot more to piloting a hot air balloon than majestic views and floating in the clouds.
It is a lot of hard work. It's not just flying a plane and taking cool selfies with the pilot uniform. It is discipline, it is honor, it is respect, it is responsibility, and it is accountability. And you go up with gas and a flame and fingers crossed.
We got to spend a weekend with Sema, learning the ups and downs of hot air ballooning.
So a day in my life entails 2 a.m. morning weather checks. We get to the balloon field, freezing cold, but the excitement of the free flight keeps you going. We set up the balloon and then we get to float in the clouds for an hour or so. And then we touch down and we're back to Joburg and our everyday lives while everyone is stuck in traffic.
A lot of work is required to prep the balloon, which Sema says inflates to the size of a 12-story building.
And if you can hear anything or smell anything, you have a gas leak, which is the last thing you want when you're going to play with an open flame. Two, three, four, and there we go. So cold inflation gives it its form, hot inflation lets it oscillate for flight. It gets really big very quickly. If you blink, you'll miss it. Just standing here gives you the magnitude of the balloon. So balloons make for terrible conversation areas because mid-chat you just have to burn.
Sema says she fell into her high-flying career by chance.
So I hold a joint honours in politics and international relations from WITS, but finding a job in the industry proved to be very difficult. I consulted professional help and they introduced me to the ballooning and aviation industry. So 2018, I started as a marketing assistant. It was actually the 2018 Hot Air Balloon Championships the week before I started working for the ballooning industry. I saw my first hot air balloon at that champs, fell completely in love, went from marketing office to balloon field to kitchen to everywhere the industry could take me. And then in 2019, the Balloon and Airship Federation of South Africa, BAFSA, and the Department of Sport and Recreation put together a grant to train young upcoming youth and black youth in the sport to kind of facilitate this form of access and interest in the sport. I wanted to be part of this industry and make my mark. And that's when I realized that it goes beyond just the office in the field. I can actually be a pilot. There was no black pilot to reference to, but I knew that there was space for me, and I created that space.
That sense of tenacity is something Sema says she has had from childhood.
My childhood was a mix of excitement, adventure, and a lot of nerves from my mother. I don't think she expected her last born to be the chaotic one.
Sema says her family keeps her grounded, but this pilot won't stop soaring anytime soon.
What drives me is my need for more. Oh my goodness, I have dreams bigger than my little feet can carry, and I always look beyond what can be attained. When we started this journey, the goal was getting a license. I have my license now.
You do realize you're on your own now, eh?
I do, and you were right about the weight. What I want to do next is I want to become an instructor so I can train young youth and we can have a junior championships in the country. I want to be able to represent the country globally, represent the continent globally. It's such a wonderful industry. It builds your confidence, and it also is the most phenomenal way to give youth and young people and old people a sense of responsibility.
Next, a Ugandan doctor shows us the device he created to locate veins more easily.
20,000 naira for free. 20,000 naira bonus. Is your line blocked? Then move to Glow.
I'm reconnected.
Because we've all reconnected. And it's simple, simple. Dial *109# and link your NIN to your new or existing Glow number.
Get up to 20,000 naira for free with Glow.
20,000 naira bonus free.
Yes, sir, free.
Niger, what are you waiting for?
Free the Girls is an anti-trafficking organization that was started to help survivors re-enter the workplace through the sale of secondhand bras in used clothing markets around the world. My name is Dave Terpstra, and I'm co-founder of Free the Girls. One of the things that we discovered that survivors struggle with is getting back into society after they've been rescued, after they've been rehabilitated. How do they re-engage real life? And so we created a program that's designed to help them start their own micro-enterprise and grow their own business for themselves. We have women donate bras, and as we say, bras are something women wear close to their hearts. And this is an issue that touches the hearts of many women, and they want to play a part. They hear about these women who are traumatized, who have been trafficked around the world in terrible situations, and this is such a tangible way for them to reach out. When CNN first came 10 years ago to tell our story, we hadn't yet shipped our first container of bras. And CNN was there to record the entire process when that container arrived. That first container had 30,000 bras. We've since shipped 9 40-foot containers. Over 1 million bras have come here to Mozambique for our women to sell. That has transformed some lives.
When Julius Mubiru was only 1.5 years old, he spent 2 weeks in the hospital suffering from an asthma attack, the first of many.
I used to be so sick, so I'd spend a lot of time in the hospital.
Though he's healthy now, one thing that always stuck with him was getting jabbed multiple times before a clinician successfully found a vein.
I think this one, along the way, motivated me to go into the line of health, that is to try and give back a service to help with challenges which you find as a child. The aspect of being in the hospital gave me like a motivation to try and come up with a solution to help out.
In 2015, Julius and a team of engineers at the Mbarara University of Science and Technology came up with an idea to create a device that could find veins more easily.
The standard of care, or what we call the way how clinicians are currently doing the procedure, is to use anatomical knowledge. They will teach you that a vein passes here. So the A-light vein locator is used so that you can easily identify where the vein is, and you draw the blood samples or you give the medication This means that the child will not have to be pricked so many times, which is very painful to the child, but even for the parents. Very traumatic for them to see their sick babies going through a lot of pain. Basically, this is how it comes.
Vein locating devices exist already in other parts of the world, but Julius says they aren't feasible in Uganda for multiple reasons.
But these devices do not put into the consideration the African context, both in making and also, which also translates into the costing. For example, some need more than 2 clinicians to work with them, and also the technology behind them. Some use infrared, others are ultrasound based. So you have a lot of equipment which are needed to process the images. What we are doing, we are using visible light, where you do not need extra equipment to process the image, and then you also, one clinician can operate it. And this is very important because in Africa, the patient to doctor ratio is very high, 25,000 to 1, so you do not have the luxury of numbers. This is how we are trying to put the African context into the design.
The A-Light vein locator is still in the prototype phase, and Julius's team is constantly updating it based on user feedback.
Okay, so this one is the laboratory where the A-Light vein locator team works with our A-Light engineers.
Good morning, guys. Thanking us to do some of the reviews we picked from Venezuela.
The idea of A-Light came to light during a MedTech hackathon where Julius met co-founder Lydia Asimwe.
The team that was forming to create the solution had to be diverse. So it needed a medical person on the team, it needed some technicians, it needed people from the business background. So working with Julius is interesting. He's, first of all, very knowledgeable of his subject matter, of his area of expertise in medicine. He's always reading, always coming up with something new, always researching. I love that about him. So with him, it's continuous innovation, continuous learning. So this device started from a very simple prototype, lab-based prototype, very huge. It has come a long way to where it is now. There are mighty men and women and organizations that have mentored us to be where we are today.
Julius and his colleagues are currently in clinical trials with their device, under the guidance of Principal Investigator Jerome Kabachenga.
Good morning, Professor.
Good morning to you. How are the preliminary results?
The results were promising. We haven't at least had any adverse effects, which is a promising thing.
As a health worker, I have also been challenged with identifying vessels. The vein locator at least has moved a stage from the proof of concept to now reaching a stage of clinical trials. And I would expect that once it has passed the initial stage of clinical trials, then it can go to like scaling up, using it to a bigger number of children.
The journey of the vein locator has given me a lot of opportunities to learn about clinical trials, but then also the ability to run projects. And I believe that this is a point which professionally can push me to even bigger projects, both on the continent, but then also on the world scene, so that we contribute to the general well-being of everyone.
Times 10! Get a Glow SIM today and enjoy 1,000 Naira sign-on bonus for voice and data. All new and existing Glow subscribers also get 10 times the value of their every recharge, plus up to double their data recharge as bonus. All Glow subscribers also get up to free 20,000 Naira bonus for voice and data.
On the next Living Golf, discover the history of the sport in Sweden. How do they keep producing some of the world's best golfers? Hear from rising stars.
I think it's just more fun when a Swede wins.
Then visit the region's flagship event, the Scandinavian Mixed, and sit down with Europe's next Ryder Cup captain, Henrik Stenson.
This is where it all started for me.
Living Golf, Sunday on CNN, in association with Gulf Saudi.
The Roots, Yolanda Adams, Earth, Wind & Fire, and so much more. Juneteenth, a global celebration for freedom. Live from the Hollywood Bowl, only on CNN.
We're revisiting some of the best moments from recent episodes of African Voices Changemakers. In South Africa, we saw how one photographer is using their lens to shed light on the LGBTQ community. Zanele Moholi is a prolific South African artist and self-described visual activist, using photography as their main medium since the early 2000s.
I grew up under heavy apartheid, so I understand how that informs my current visual documentation. So my mom was a domestic worker. My father has since died, and my mom had to raise 8 children on her own. So my childhood was just a household with no father. And then my mom at work.
This inspired their series of photographs titled Masa and Mina, which portrayed Zanele as a domestic worker.
And I have images of myself as a domestic, and I share some of the images as part of this narrative. Even visiting like my clients' homes with domestic workers, somehow it triggers because I see my mom in them.
Zanele struggled with their identity for years. Because of the lack of representation in media, Zanele says they didn't know who or what they were.
How do you come out without any magazines that looks or tells the story of you becoming is not what is expected? My journey has not been easy. It's still not easy, but I make it possible because I believe that what I do needs to be done. The one that you have, you could put with this one.
Zanele decided to make it their responsibility to bring awareness to the LGBTQIA+ community.
Between like that period, like 1999, 2000, 2001, I'll go to the township doing community outreach work where I reported on the lives of Black lesbians in different townships. I did not have much reference point when it comes to Black lesbian photographies from here. We're mostly reliant on international books, magazines.
In 2006, Zanele started a new series called Faces and Phases, which celebrates the Black gay community.
Faces and Phases is a lifetime project. As you see here, you have 16 years of work. What is important is the content, the people in it, and what they have to say. So this period of living and loving and transforming and transitioning is very, very key because it's a documentation that is hardly captured by us.
Zanele released a book of self-portraits in 2018, Somnyama Ngonyama, which translates as Hail the Dark Lioness. The portraits pay homage to the history of Black women and identity. Since its release, Zanele has been working on a sequel.
And I'm preparing for my next book here, the next Somnyama Ngonyama book. It's work over the past few years. These are my co-editors. So we're editing the book. Then we go to the lab. We process properly the final. Let's say, with a pool of 100 images, only 92 will make sense or will be in the book. It doesn't matter how many I produce. If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense.
Zanele is set to release an exclusive line of home accessories, which link back to the original Somnyama Ngonyama.
You are at Somnyama Ngonyama's showroom, which will be strictly available or only at the museum shops or will be accessible to my collectors. These designs are original photographs from my book, Somnyama Ngonyama, which was launched in 2018. I have worked with people before, but nobody has seen me like this way. So it goes back to the whole, saying that sometimes we need to produce work that lives beyond us.
Zanele has a long list of awards and accolades, including receiving a French knighthood. They never accept awards fully for themselves, and rather accept it on behalf of their community.
So, to be knighted, it means that the queer community is knighted. alongside me. So any award, any prize is not for me. It's about a community that still needs to be serviced, to be resourced. I'm shaped by the village, I'm shaped by the queer community, and I forever bow to every human being that has given back to something. I grew up poor, but now I'm richer. The information that I produce makes me feel rich and somehow content, because I like what I do. I love my work so much.
Next, we'll revisit the Zimbabwean woman who's promoting girls' education across the continent.
20,000 naira for free. 20,000 naira bonus. Is your line blocked? Then move to Glow.
I'm reconnected.
Because we've all reconnected. And it's simple, simple. Dial *109# and link your NIN to your new or existing Glow number.
Get up to 20,000 naira for free with Glow.
20,000 naira bonus free.
Yes, sir, free.
Niger, what are you waiting for?
Afghan women are afraid that this is the beginning of your efforts to erase them from the workspace.
Malumnis, it's not clear. Even if we appear with the burqa, maybe they will say that women's voices are forbidden.
Did you ever imagine that you would be prevented from going to school?
Girls' education is fundamental to the dignity of Afghan life.
Do you believe that young girls will be allowed to go to school here in Afghanistan?
So I want you to say what you want to become loudly so that we all hear it and you hear it yourself.
Angeline Murmirwa believes knowledge is power.
Education is justice. Giving everybody an opportunity to go to school is justice. It tells every child that they belong, that they own their destiny, that they can shape it.
Angeline promotes girls' education across Africa through the Campaign for Female Education, or CAMFED. The NGO partners with more than 7,000 schools across 5 countries to provide educational opportunities and tackle poverty at its core.
We provide the financial support, the social support, and the community support for those girls who get places to go to secondary school to be able to proceed. I believe that in education lies all the answers with regards to fighting poverty on the continent. For starters, it's about inclusion. To date, we have supported over 5 million girls through school. Our strategic plan up to 2025 is to support 5 million more through school.
For Angeline, the organization's work is personal. She understands all too well what it's like to struggle to stay in school.
I was born by poor parents, subsistence farmers who didn't have enough to eat, let alone invest in my education. I personally know how painful it is to be excluded from education, to be told that you can't sit in this class alongside your peers because you cannot meet the cost, is powerfully painful.
Angeline was one of the first young women to receive support from CAMFED.
I was clear that I wasn't going to proceed to secondary school. So when CAMFED selected me, the fact that I had school fees guaranteed, I had all school-going costs guaranteed, for me, I was hopeful. I realized that I could go back home and do something with the education rather than despair and worry about what was going on at home at that particular time. So I don't need an imagination to know what could have become of me, because when I got the chance to be supported by CAMFED, I had colleagues who didn't get it, and I have seen how their lives turned up. So for me, it's how do I use this privilege that I got?
Today, she's meeting with several women in Malawi who graduated school with CAMFED's help.
So are you going to take us in?
Yes.
Yes, let's see. Charity is a CAMFED Association member, and she's an entrepreneur. She sells fabrics, materials, laces, and just now I'm buying my own fabric so that I can do my chilundu, right? Yeah.
I decided to employ my fellow CAMFED Association member as one way of encouraging sisterhood. My greatest vision is to transform these fabric services place to be the tailoring service.
2. You think 2 would be enough?
2, yeah.
Okay.
Other members have chosen to go back to their former schools as learner guides to mentor students.
We understand that it's not enough for a child just to walk through the school gates and to just meet their school uniforms or their school needs. It's also important for learners to have social support to be able to navigate school and home life for them to be able to make a success. And this is led by our learner guides, and our social support is to all students, both boys and girls. Because for us, it's important for students to learn, stay in school, and succeed.
The association has also developed a climate-smart agriculture guide program to invest in female farmers and combat climate change.
Our Working Climate Action looks into how do we support communities to be able to use climate-smart approaches to be able to increase their yields, but also to be able to respond to climate shocks. I'm so excited to be here because we're in Mulanje now and we're at Edith's farm. This is the rice farm, massive farm. Comfort supported her through school from 2013, but she's now running her own enterprise, and this is big for every young woman that we support. And she's a role model in her community, and others also know that if you support a girl, everything changes, and her story is a testament to that.
Whether in agriculture or fashion, their success gives Angeline hope that one day every girl in Africa will be given equal opportunity to learn. And she says she will not stop until that dream becomes a reality.
For every girl out there, poor or not, struggling or not, you matter. You are important. You have every right to be here. You belong, and you are alive for a reason. And you have an opportunity to be able to make this world a better place. There's only one you, and the world needs you in this time, in this generation. Be you, and you always have a cheerleader in me.
Thanks so much for watching. You can find past episodes and so much more at our website. We'll be back next week with some new and exciting changemakers.
African Voices Changemakers, in association with Glow Unlimited.
Brekete times 10. Get a Glow SIM today and enjoy 1,000 Naira sign-on bonus for voice and data. All new and existing Glow subscribers also get 10 times the value of their every recharge, plus up to double their data recharge as bonus. All Glow subscribers also get up to free 20,000 Naira bonus for voice and data.
Monday, let's lift every voice. A CNN concert event. The Roots, Khalid, Janae Aiko, Earth, Wind & Fire, Yolanda Adams, and for the first time ever, an all-black symphony orchestra takes the stage at the Hollywood Bowl, and so much more. Juneteenth, a global celebration for freedom. Live from the Hollywood Bowl, only on CNN.
Transformation, technology, new Marketplace Europe.
A Davos of difference, a WEF like no other, as leaders face historic crises.
Marketplace Europe, Sunday on CNN.
This is CNN. More people get their news from CNN than any other news source.
Quest's World of Wonder, in association with Turkish Airlines.
Hello. Gorgeous. This is what a vacation looks like. Everyone has a good time. And it's not even 8 o'clock. The sun is shining, the weather is glorious, and only 10 minutes ago it was pouring with rain. I've been to Dublin lots of times over the years, and like others, I have some preconceived ideas of the traditions and the cliches. I'm really looking forward, though, to this visit, because I've heard there's a new spirit in Dublin. I love the way Dublin is so walkable. Follow the river and I can't go wrong. Dublin has changed so much since it was unleashed as the Celtic tiger on the rest of Europe. Now, like the rest of the world, Dublin, indeed Ireland, gingerly searches for its post-pandemic purpose. Standing on the river, you can see the old and the new. The traditional Dublin over there with the customs house and the new towers of finance and the cranes showing getting even larger. And hold on to your hat with that breeze coming in. The weather is about to turn nasty, and I shall take refuge in a pub, of which, of course, there are many. Actually, it's not just any pub. The Cobblestone. They call themselves a drinking pub with a music problem. Thomas Mulligan and the family have been mine hosts since 1987.
My dad came in here and there was a very rough clientele that was in here at the time. You know, it was an early house, so that means that people that would have been working night shifts would have come in right after they were finished work, delirious with the tiredness, and then started a day's drinking on top of that. And after a while he just decided he wanted to completely overhaul that and get music playing every day of the week.
Of the hundreds of public houses in Dublin, I've chosen the Cobblestone because it's the home of traditional Irish music, and it's just won a legal battle to survive.
Believe it or not, you know, this being the nation's capital, this being the thing that we are famous for is our music. There's not many places that you can actually go and engage with that aspect of our culture here on a daily basis.
Oh, please don't start the fun. I be getting so much done.
We like people to leave this place in a better state than they came into it.
There are ways that can be enhanced.
There are indeed, but there's plenty of people who come in here and not even take a drink, you know, and that's what's special about this place.
She was running wild. She said, as long as there's no place, I love I'll stay.
Look deep into the faces of these musicians, the rhapsody of the music that they are creating, and of course I want to have a go. But which instrument to play?
Now, and you should take this with you everywhere you go in Ireland. It'll guarantee you'll get kicked out of every pub you go into.
So is it held that way?
Now, that's not for me to teach you. That's for Keane. Our professional Bowron teacher, he'll teach you everything about it. He's going to teach me about it because I'm looking to learn. I'm looking to improve on my rhythm a bit. So we'll go into it.
My rhythm is non-existent.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, yeah, and hitting it hardest on the 1. Down, up, down, click.
1,
2, 3, 4. Oops. Like watermelon, watermelon, watermelon is an easy way to remember it. So for jigs, it's rashers and sausages. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like,
sorry, where did rashers, sausages, and watermelon come in?
It doesn't matter. Getting there.
Rashers and sausages. Rashers and sausages. I love music, but I can neither sing nor play any instrument. And yet that won't stop me joining in on the Bowron. Because that's what this place is all about. It's infectious. It's what the locals here describe as a bit of the crack.
Spelled C-R-A-I-C, and it's just, it's a feeling, you know, the crack being 90, the crack is flying, the pints are flying. It's a buzz, right? It's a buzz, it's a feeling. You can feel it in the cockles of your spirit. You can feel it in your bones, in the marrow. It's just, it's electric, right? I've walked into the pub and I feel like the chairs and tables are like levitating about an inch off the ground, you know, that something's about to kick off here and it's going to be great.
$300 million years ago, there was no Africa, Asia, Americas, or Europe. Just one big supercontinent, Pangaea. And today, there is still a force connecting those divided by distance, reversing millions of years of rifting. Making far feel close, bringing there to here. Turkish Airlines.
It's totally covered in solar, also the side panels, and we have this patented proprietary solar technology which we developed over the last couple of years. And this vehicle here is recharging on average per day 10 miles. In a week, it's 70 miles through the sun. Additionally, of course, I have a battery on board. I can recharge it just as a regular electric vehicle, but we have this convenient feature. It's taking away this fear of recharging, this fear of range anxiety, and making it more convenient, energy efficient, and you're saving costs. Energy is coming from the sun for free. And the second pillar is selling and licensing this technology to B2B customers. Trucks, train, buses, camper van. There's huge potential in this market to make the whole logistic industry more greener.
I'm an early riser at the best of times. Getting up with the sun is part of my life. Some people sleep in. I get up and get out.
Hello, you made it. So this is the 40 foot.
The 40 foot.
You have a lovely sign to welcome.
But even for this early riser, the prospect of swimming Dublin's 40 foot is daunting. There'll be none of that. Instead, I'll be swimming with a group called the Ripple Effect. Gosh, you look like you do this regularly.
Every day.
Every day? A wonderful, gregarious bunch of early risers who come here to meet, swim and breakfast, come rain or shine. Why is it called the 40 foot? No one seems to agree, and it doesn't matter anyway. It's the people and that crack again that I've come for. Right. Am I committing a dreadful mistake? An etiquette mistake with my dry road?
No, you're
No,
grand.
no,
It's
you're
I'm
necessary.
not going to have stones thrown at me. You city types with your dry roads.
No, it's absolutely
Sorry?
necessary.
I know it's going to be very cold. I know it'll be good fun.
Oh, yeah.
I know it'll be very cold. I know I'll just have to stay in there for the minimum amount of time to make it decent. These people do it every day. I mean, they do it every day.
Good gosh.
If I keep moving, I can still feel my fingers and toes. And in time, of course, those endorphins kick in, which is what this is all about.
Warmer over here.
Warmer is a relative concept in this case. Well, after a few seconds, a few moments, it's most enjoyable.
That was lovely.
But when you start to feel the tingling in the ends of your fingers, I think that's usually a good sign it's time to get out.
Sign, definitely a sign to get out, yeah.
But now, of course, the body is warm and oh.
You okay?
I did. I
Feel
just felt
good?
like I did think I was having a heart attack when I went in there.
Welcome to Dublin.
Yay! We did it.
What a great way to start the day. I mean, amazing way. This is Ireland, and with true hospitality, of course, someone's brought coffee, freshly baked chocolate chip cookies. These are excellent. What a day. Why do you all do it?
Look what we're all doing now. We're all laughing, we're all chatting, we're all connecting.
Community, we're all reverberating off one another, interacting, laughing, lifting one another up.
During lockdown, a lot of people couldn't meet indoors, so a lot of people started connecting outside. And this was just a nice place for people to come, and people rediscovered the sea, and it's just been really nice to do it.
Recharge.
Recharge, that's the word.
I think we've tapped into this in the last 2 years, in the 2 years that have just passed. We've seen the need to enhance our mental well-being. In fact, I would accredit it to saving my life to a degree.
Jonathan is a 40-footer who owns this amazing cafe where he insists we repair for breakfast, and he won't let me pay. I understand now why they call themselves the Ripple Effect.
I think the ripple effect is an Irish thing. It has a part of our history. You know, everyone's there to support each other, whether we go through hard times, good times. You know, everyone is there to really, really support each other.
One word that describes Ireland and the people.
Heart is the biggest thing. Heart is the biggest thing. Everyone wants to love, and that's what people love to do. And everyone's seeking love. And I think that's what Ireland is.
For most of the city, the day has barely begun. For me, as the blood starts flowing again, I can't help feeling I've already enjoyed the best bit. And it's not even 8 a.m.
$300 million years ago, there was no Africa, Asia, Americas, or Europe. Just one big supercontinent, Pangaea. And today, there is still a force connecting those divided by distance, reversing millions of years of rifting. Making far feel close, bringing there to here. Turkish Airlines.
The Roots, Yolanda Adams, Earth, Wind & Fire, and so much more. Juneteenth, a global celebration for freedom, live from the Hollywood Bowl, only on CNN.
Modernity and transformation has altered much here, but it hasn't changed those parts of Dublin life that makes this city what it is, and the institutions upon whose history it grew and still rests.
The oldest surviving Irish harp and the model for the insignia of Ireland.
In Irish literature, there's none greater than James Joyce.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you, sir.
Your breakfast is ready.
John Shevlin is a very good James Joyce lookalike.
The only thing we're missing here are the kidneys.
This breakfast is the classic from Joyce's Ulysses, that weighty tome that mimics the Odyssey through one man's day in Dublin.
Joyce himself said that people for decades will be trying to find out what I meant.
Walking the streets with one of Ireland's national treasures helps me decipher what it feels to be a Dubliner.
Do you enjoy doing James Joyce? I do, absolutely. And it's amazing the people I meet. Incredible. They all join in with the crack, the fun. Crack is fun. I certainly feel appropriate with you in this outfit. You set the tone.
There's that word again, the crack, the fun, the spirit. It's everywhere here, drawing the eras together, and in historic terms, that means into battle. The Irish have had to defend themselves from foreign invaders and marauders since the Middle Ages. Medieval armoured combat Ireland. It's the modern-day incarnation of all of that. There's no impersonators here playing dress-up. No pulling of punches or dummy attacks. These are true weekend warriors swinging real steel axes and swords with all the force man can muster. It is both terrifying and tremendous.
The proudest moments in my life have been the fact that I've got to represent my country at a world championship in a sport most people have never heard of.
I don't know whether I can even stand up. I'm starting getting a bit frightened at the sheer weight of the thing, let alone grabbing one of these swords, which are bloody heavy.
Within the confines of basic rules, this is for real.
Ow!
He really is hitting me with a sword.
Doesn't hurt at all, but all of a sudden you feel a hit on your head. Once more, my dear friends, into the breach.
You ready?
No.
Fighters ready? Fight!
Fight!
Good defense. Swing it. Hit him.
While there's great historical accuracy to the armor and the weaponry, this is not a reenactment of famous battles. Rather, it is a sport where you fight to win.
Time.
What was that smell of burning?
That's sparks. It's like gunpowdery smell.
Yeah.
That's sparks coming off the swords, the armour.
Yeah, I thought it was on fire.
Oh, you were getting into it.
Right. We're not doing that again. There's an inherent contradiction, isn't there? The most friendly people in the world then go and beat the bejeebers out of each other.
Well, and you can see that in the fighting here, when people are knocking seven shades out of each other and then they take the helmets off and they're grinning and they're hugging each other. So I think it's working out your aggression in the right direction, and then it's done and it's over with. And I think if more people were getting all their aggression and anger out in that way, we'd be in a much better place. You didn't fall over and you didn't drop the sword. That's a win in my books for first time. A well-deserved winner.
Give me one word that you think best describes Ireland and the Irish.
I think the word would be heart. And there's lots of different ways you could interpret it, and it's heart. Whether it's bringing people in and accepting them or being proud of ourselves, it's all about heart.
Ah, that Irish heart, it keeps beating throughout, from intrepid swimmers to these brave knights. I would gladly march into battle with them, if I can keep up.
To open doors and to unlock secrets, it takes trust.
This was the Duchess's first news interview.
Trust that you'll be accurate and you'll be fair.
It was an unprecedented move. Very eerie. All the roads have been closed off. The Apache attack helicopter. This is what Captain Wales has been flying.
Do you want talks with them?
Huge amount of police support.
Rare access indeed.
That's what it's all about.
Max Foster, CNN.
Dublin is amazing, but if I only see Ireland's capital, I am a fool and have cheated myself. I am forgoing the dramatic cliffs of the west and heading further south, instead to where the wild Atlantic Way actually starts. Cork, a place that considers itself the real capital of the Republic. Ireland boasts of its fresh foods, and the English market, which has been here since 1788, is freshness central.
Well, you'll find there's a bit of every animal in this market, right? And I guarantee, Richard, if you stand around long enough, someone's going to take a nibble off you, all right?
Patrick Fitzpatrick is with me. He's the comedian, actor, author, and Cork native. And he's figured out how to win me over.
But you have to actually experience things like custard slices.
Oh, I love a custard slice.
Custard ice cream in a cake.
Thank you very much.
I come here for the fresh food.
The quality of this is just superb.
I linger because of the welcome.
Morning, sir. How are you? Good. How long does this keep if you don't have it in the fridge?
You don't have it in the fridge, depends what temperature actually do have it in.
What's different about Cork compared to Dublin?
We have a much lower opinion of ourselves, but we pretend otherwise. So we have both an inferiority complex and a superiority complex in Cork. Cork, classic second city. It's about 1/10 of the size, population-wise, of Dublin. It's got a grudge. It's got a chip on both shoulders. It's got the notion that it's the real Ireland. So, and I think there's a bit of truth in that, to the extent that if you go to Dublin now, it can feel like a small London. Whereas this feels like a big town, a big Irish town.
The English market was merely the hors d'oeuvre. The main course is 20 minutes up the road. Blarney Castle and its famous stone, which legend says bestows the gift of the gab on those who kiss it.
So the question is, are you going to kiss the Blarney Stone?
I never have.
Why not?
I'm 55 and I never have, and I grew up within 10 kilometres. Well, because it's a tourist thing.
In case you hadn't noticed, we're tourists. Part of me thinks of the 40,000 people who've kissed it in the last 48 hours.
What do you know about them, you know? I don't mind kissing people, but I'd like to at least meet them first, maybe buy a drink.
My ignorance, I'd always thought the Blarney Stone was a rock on a cliff overlooking the ocean. It's not. It's a rock in the wall at the top of a castle.
Oh, look at that.
Whoa. Well, I'm kissing. I think I'm kissing.
Oh.